review for The Mousetrap, also known as Mickey's Mousetrap. So yeah, this movie's absolutely terrible. It's wow, is it bad? Wow. Yeah, I mean it's probably the worst movie I've seen since Madam Web. At least this has a very small budget. I don't even know if it was theatrically released. But it is bad. Wow. It's not even an hour and a half. It's like an hour 20, hour 15. Probably with the credits, it's like an hour 15 plus credits. It's so terrible. Like the whole movie just takes place in one area, basically one area, this like giant um game center for kids. And then it cuts to this goth girl who's friends, although she doesn't seem to like any of them, and doesn't really care when they die either. So, um, it's a terrible person, this goth girl, and she's being interviewed by the police. And then she's in one room, and then she's behind bars, which is kind of odd. Like, do the police like interrogate you like when you're behind the bars? Don't they take you into another room and it's being filmed and stuff? But they like suspect her of being the killer, even though think she was stabbed, but it wasn't stabbed badly. Um, so spoilers. Okay, terrible movie. Go check it out if you the novelty of it. That's the only reason to watch this movie is just the pure novelty of a killer wearing an old school Mickey Mouse mask. Um, so it starts off these two girls work in this place. Their boss, he tells them, "Look, like, could you do this? Like, stay longer than normal, and you'll get double the pay." Which I'm like, wow, really? Because usually overtime's pay and a half, but he says double. Okay. So they're like, okay, sweet. So, and one of the girls, it's her birthday. Her name's Alex, and and then they're not even doing anything. So I don't even know why he wants them to stay, like clean up. But the place looks totally clean. So, so it tells him to stay. He then goes into like a back room and watches an old school Steamboat Willie cartoon, which is like his favorite thing in the world or something. And they even have, the mask is like in a case, and then he just goes nuts. And he puts the mask on, and then he just starts killing people for no reason. Like no reasons given. He didn't seem to really dislike them that much. They were kind of bitchy at him, but nothing too bad. And yeah, he just goes crazy. And then at the same time, it's this girl's birthday, and a bunch of her friends show up as a surprise. And they're like, yeah, let's, hang out here for a while, and then we're going to go to a bar. It's her 21st birthday. So they start to drink and smoke, and they're, kind of not doing much, but hanging out around the bar. And then the doors get locked. So the guy in the mask, which you don't see him do this, but locks all the doors with chains. And he just starts picking off one by one. Like one of the first kills is this guy and his girlfriend go to have sex in like the playpen, like for kids with like the balls, like at, like at a McDonald's or something. It's like that, but bigger. And I was thinking that's maybe like the grossest place to have sex because it's like disgusting. Like I mean, like you don't want to go in those things, and like they're getting naked inside of that, and it's also weird because it's like a kids thing. You know, it's like a kids play center. I don't know. I just found that very weird and also just gross because it's disgusting. And yeah, and then he appears and. Uh, he's like right next to him, but they don't see him, and then he kills him. And that's the thing with this movie is like you can tell the director not very good, actually terrible. The cinematography pretty bad. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen, you know, but pretty bad. It's not like Birdemic. Like, okay, it's shot better than Birdemic. I'll give it that. But but the kills are terrible. I mean, you would think if you made this movie and the acting's terrible, everyone's bad. You would think if you made this movie, you would understand that all that's going to happen. The acting's going to be bad. You know, almost no money, pretty bad cinematography, but maybe you could spend some money on like makeup and a little bit of effects, right? And have some good kills. I mean, that's what I would think you would do, but no, the kills are bad. You don't even really see them. There's one kill where he slits a girl's throat, which was okay. Pretty generic, but I mean, it looked, you know, okay. That was probably the best kill. There's a kill at the end when he has a sword. Somehow he has a sword now, and he cuts off the main girl's head, and it's all just bad CGI. And oh yeah, and his weakness is a flashlight. Yeah, that's the killer's weakness is a flashlight, which he's afraid of for some reason, which is never explained. Why? I mean, he's just that guy. He's just your boss. Why is he afraid of a flashing light? When he works in a like a whatever, like a place that has tons of flashing lights. Like there's video games, there's, you know, it's like there's tons of flashing lights everywhere. So this guy works in a place every day. He's like the manager, and there's tons of flashing lights. But then all of a sudden he goes nuts, and now his weakness is flashing lights, even though they're all over the place in this place. Which is never really brought up. It's just flashlights that flash. He's afraid of for some reason. And then one scene, it seemed like they were using it on him, and he wasn't afraid of it, and didn't work, and he just attacked them. He uses a knife. He uses like a hammer. At one point, he uses a wrench. At the end, he has a sword, which is never explained how he got that sword. He also teleports, like literally. Like at first I was like, wait, did he just teleport? Because he's like there, but then like the lights turn off and then he's gone. And I was like, wait, did he just teleport? And then yeah, later he's just teleporting. Like inside the place, outside the place. You know, he has the chains on the doors. He kills one of the coworkers outside of the place because she's coming back. Because she was going to go hook up with this guy. And then she's like, oh, but I'll come back and help you clean up. Even though, like I said, the place wasn't even dirty. Like, just so dumb. and she's outside and she can't get back in, and then the other girl, Alex, on the other side, she's like, let me out, let me out. And then he teleports, kills her. Again, a terrible kill. You don't even see him do it. It's like it's like off scene, off screen, and with a knife, but you don't even see him do it. I mean, this movie is just like, man, like you would think that they would at least have some decent kills, but they don't. So, I mean, I expected it to be bad, but not this bad actually. It's quite terrible. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes, but man, does it feel long. It's just like, end, please. Director Jamie Bailey. And this actually had a writer. Someone wrote this, Simon Phillips. Oh, and he's one of the stars, I guess. Oh, he's the manager. That goes crazy. Okay. Well, you suck as a writer. I'm sorry. He wrote one episode of Fubar, that show that looked terrible that Arnold was in. One episode of The Witcher. Some movie called Survive the Game. I don't know. I haven't heard of any of these. Bunch of some Bruce Willis movies. Fortress, Survive the Game. The Survivalist with John Malkovich. Wow, and what's that guy's name? John Rhys Meyers, who was in The Tudors. That guy's I was always like, why did that guy's career not take off? It seemed, because like Henry Cavill was in that show, and then his career took off, and I was like, okay, this guy's career was probably going to take off too, but no, he was good in that show as Henry VIII. But anyways, so terrible movie. This movie even opens up with a Star Wars crawl saying this doesn't have anything to do with Disney. And then they're like, we asked Disney if they would endorse the movie, and they wouldn't. And they're like, but we like Disney. They're cool. We kept asking them, and they wouldn't do it. There's this crawl in the beginning of the movie. And I'm just like, oh, gosh. So really, with that crawl, take that out. The movie's like an hour, 10 minutes, hour, 12 minutes. And it feels like it's 2 hours or 2.5 hours. Yeah, and he's just picking these people off, and then this it cuts back to this goth girl being interviewed about it. It doesn't even make any sense, because sometimes she says like some things, and she wasn't even in the room when they said it, so it doesn't even make any sense. But I mean, the killer has teleportation power, so I guess he's an X-Man. Never explained. Um, it's the first horror feature film containing Mickey Mouse, who passed public domain this year. The mask used in the film is actually a vintage 1960s Mickey Mouse mask, albeit repainted in black and white. The term of copyright for a particular work depends on several factors, including whether it has been published, and if so, the date and first publication. As a general rule, for works created after January 1st, 1978, copyright protections last for the life of the author plus an additional 70 years. Once that period of time expires, or if the creator failed to comply with any legal formalities required at the time of creation or thereafter, the work enters the public domain, meaning it belongs to everyone without restriction. The creator may also decide before the expiration of copyright to decide the work to the public domain, giving the new creation to the public use. So has it been 70 years since Walt Disney died, I guess? I don't know. On Rotten Tomatoes, it says no reviews. Audience rating 28%, 50 reviews. Although there is one critic review. I guess it's not saying it up there. But Jonita Davis, The Black Cape, I guess that's what she writes for. Mousetrap is meant to resemble those films only enough to entertain in the moment. This means seeing things like a sudden teleportation power as a silly camp feature. It's supposed to be. Okay. And she gave it a fresh review. Wow. Should be ashamed of yourself. This movie is terrible. At least Josh Bell, the crooked marquis, says a plotting slasher movie that has essentially nothing to do with Steamboat Willie. Yeah, it has nothing to do with Steamboat Willie either. Right. That's a good point. Has nothing to do with it. I mean, I guess they have a room in the back where they play old Steamboat Willie cartoons, I guess to show the children, I guess. And this guy is just obsessed with it, and he's the manager there. But that's about it. And then he puts the mask on, and one guy kind of mentions, "Oh, it's a vintage mask from the '60s," and that's about it. It's Blood and Honey, which I've been meaning to watch that one too. I'm sure it's great. It's Blood and Honey all over again, with limited effort put into the final production, which is caught between becoming one big goof and one colossal bore. The mousetrap merely exists to collect a quick buck from the curious. Yeah, I don't think it collected much. So, but if you could smash that like button, that'd be great. Really helps the channel. This is a terrible movie. You can watch it to laugh at it. Hopefully, there's a riff tracks of it at some point. That would make it a little better. But yeah, it's terrible. See you next time.